and welcome to our third instalment of our landscape painting. Now what we're going to do today, obviously we've got our lake, we've got our lovely sky. Now what we're going to do today is we're just going to add in some trees. Now again, I'm keeping it very, very simple indeed, and what we're going to be doing is just using a nice broad brush, and you're actually going to just be stippling the trees. So again, it's still in that little that abstract and quirky style, but we're just going to be just stippling with the brush. So what I need you to do is just take up some of the nice dark green, and we'll just put it into the palette. And you could always add some blue to this just to make it that little bit darker, because it'd be nice to have a nice strong depth of forest green. So I'm just mixing, in the process of just mixing the dark green with some blue. And what you want to get is that nice sort of petrol-y colour. Can you see that it's coming? It's beginning to get there. So I just want that nice, quite a cool green. Let's say almost on the sort of petrol-y colour. Just keep mixing until you think you've got something that you're actually happy with. And then what you need to do is just, again, working with your kitchen paper and your brush, take up the paint, dry your excess off directly onto your kitchen paper, and then all you're going to do is just literally just stipple. And you're just going to stipple just random little shapes. That's all you're going to do. You can have some fun and you can change the texture of your brush. So I've got here just a size 12, so you could have some fun and just change that ever so slightly, and just think about how the trees are along the lake. You could actually go higher, and go a little bit longer and lower. If your brush gets too wet, just dry it off and just go back over the same area again. You don't need a lot of paint for this, you can just keep going. Try not to put the height in the centre of your painting, just keep the height of the trees just to one side. And like I say, don't overthink it, just keep it nice and loose. And just work with the green right the way along the picture. Select just a little grouping of fir trees, just keeping it nice and loose. Like I say, still in that abstract style. And then what we need to do is we just need to build up some of this colour and just some of the depth. So we're just going to spend some time just working on the different tones of colour. So just using a different green. This time I'm just using the leaf green. Again, just taking the excess off the brush so it's a little bit drier. And we can just go back over and stipple along again. And it just adds just that extra depth of colour. So again, just take some time to do this process, just to build up those different leaf textures and colours. I'll just add a little bit of detail to our little fir trees here. And like I say, if your brush gets too wet, then just dry it off. The bristles will separate, and that's how you get this lovely stippled effect, really. And then just continue working along your painting, just putting in these little details. It's nice to put some taller ones along the edge of your painting. And then we'll just work in this central bit here. Don't completely overfill your the first layer of green. Try and bring the different colour forward a little bit. And you can see then that you've got the different textures. Okay. Now another nice colour to add to the green is actually going to be yellow. So again, I'm just going to take up some of the yellow on my brush, and the brush that I'm using here is just a size 12 broad brush. So taking up some of the yellow, again just drying that brush off so the bristles of the brush separate. You can then just apply some yellow over your green, and that just creates a little bit of warmth to the painting, because at the moment we're working in quite cool tones. And applying the yellow directly to the green just warms that up ever so slightly. So again, just in exactly the same way as we've done with the two different greens, just stipple your way around the painting, just to put in that little bit of light. And when it comes to the fir trees, just dab your way up the actual tree. Sorry, the camera's resting on the board, and as I'm stippling it, it's dancing. Sorry about that. Now I'm just going to add in just a little bit more sort of texture down this side, so I'm just going to go over it very, very quickly with another green. Again, just keeping it nice and stippled. keeping it that little bit closer to the tape so it's that little bit darker towards the base of the trees. Okay, now what we're going to do to add in the details of some branches and some tree trunks is we're actually going to just use a cocktail stick. Now you can use a cocktail stick, or you can also just use I've just got a little metal skewer here, but you just have to be very careful, and all you're going to do is literally just scratch into your painting. The paper will move, but you're just literally going to scratch into your painting and just put in some of the little highlighted trunk details. That's all you're going to do, and just give it a little scratch, and just scratch in some branches and tree trunks. And when the paint's dry, it will just literally just sort of flick off. It just adds quite a nice effect, really. So you just work your way around your painting quite methodically, and just scratching in your little tree trunks. So I'll just come over here. Just move the camera slightly. You can put some little branches in if you wanted to. Like I say, I'm just keeping this very, very simple indeed. It's the first time the Quirky birders have ever tackled anything like this, so we're just keeping it nice and simple, just having some fun with some different techniques. See the texture that's added to our little trees. Now I've obviously lent on my my painting as I've been doing this, and I've got a little bit of green on the side of my hand, can you see? And I've just rubbed it into there, but I'm not going to be too worried about that because we are going to be working in that area, so I will that mistake will sort of rectify itself shortly. So just add in the extra little bits of highlight to the trees. Like I say, just scratch away the paint, and like I say, the paper will rip, but don't be too heavy-handed with it. You just want just a little bit of light coming through. So you don't need to be sort of gouging it, just keep it just so it's adding a little bit of texture. Okay, and then what we can do is once that's actually dry, we can then just remove this low tack tape. Just being very careful not to rip our painting. Stuck. And then that's pretty much it for day 3. So we've got our sky in place, we've got our mountains, and then we've also got our trees. So tomorrow when you join me, we're going to be working in this area. So I shall see you all again then. Goodbye.